What's going on, beautiful people? My name is Hunter, and today we're going to talk a little bit about crypto, specifically the burning of Ethereum or Ether, really. But before I get into things, if you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on my daily crypto videos, and throw your boy a like as well, because again, it does help YouTube throw my content out there for y'all to appreciate. If you're on Library, just throw me a comment down below, bro. Listen, I don't discriminate, okay? I'm platform agnostic. Anyways, today we're going to talk about Ethereum. Specifically the burning of it. As you can see in front of me, I have the GitHub page for EIPs, which essentially means Ethereum Improvement Proposals. Really, they're just suggestions by the community to help improve the Ethereum protocol. People essentially like me or you who have a lot of technical knowledge are able to make suggestions to help improve Ethereum scale or, what have you. So what this is essentially is a solution to help temporarily scale Ethereum. Ethereum 2.0 is coming out, on the near future. The first phase of it at least is coming out, but the actual whole, like all three phases, I think is going to take a year or two or something like that. So this is something that'll be in the middle of two, hopefully. Now, the way Ethereum currently works is, when I send Ethereum to someone, I'm essentially, I have to put a certain price I'm willing to pay for the transaction to go through. Transaction fee, really. But it kind of works currently like an auction with bids. So let's say I'm sending one Ethereum to someone, right? I need to provide some sort of fee, let's say a tenth of an Ethereum, to have that Ethereum go through. Obviously, it's not that high, but let's just say that for example. If someone is willing to pay a higher fee than me, then their transaction is going to be prioritized and theirs is going to go through first, which means that theirs is going to be a faster transaction, mine is going to be a shorter one. And not to mention, because the miners are the ones who are choosing the fees with the highest bids at the end of the day, because they want to make the most money, of course. But in that sense, that builds up congestion, right? So if there's a bunch of people who want to go, let's say they're willing to pay a lot of Ethereum to be included on the next block within the next couple seconds, right? They're gonna bid for the highest fee. But the people who aren't bidding as high won't be prioritized until way later, because there are a bunch of other people in front of them that are just cutting in front because they're paying more. So it's almost like being on a highway. It's being stuck in traffic with only one toll booth. It's a million of cars trying to go through at the same time. It's just not going to work. And that's currently what Ethereum is like. So essentially, what this proposal is, EIP-1559, is instead of having a bidding system like an auction, as I mentioned, there's going to be two things. There's going to be a fixed transaction fee that is burned. So think of it as like a fixed fee, plus a gas premium. So almost like a tip, Actually, you can almost think of it as like going to a restaurant, right? You order the food, you have the base price the food cost, plus a little tip you give the waiter, right? So you can kind of think of it as the same, except the actual base fee is burned, and the premium or the tip is what the miner is getting. That's where the burning comes into play. Now, depending on how congested the network actually is, the base fee is adjusted by the protocol. If we take a look over here, I think it says it over here. The base fee is adjusted by the protocol. So there's a couple of things that make this good, right? There's three, I would say, things that do make this good. I think it's actually over here. Pretty much, it takes away the incentive of miners to manipulate the fee that users pay. So miners, essentially, again, it'll take away that incentive for them to try to make users pay more, for the transactions, which is good. I mean, I didn't even know that they did that. So it's good that they're taking away that incentive. No one wants to be screwed with transaction fees. It makes it so that Ethereum can be used to pay for transactions on Ethereum. Only Ether or ETH can be used to pay for transactions on Ethereum, giving it more economic value. There's more demand for it because that's all you can use to pay for it. It's kind of like taxes. Otherwise, why would we have US dollars? You can't pay for taxes in Bitcoin, but you can only pay it with US dollars. So think of it as like a network tax. That you can only pay with it in that, token, Ether. And the last thing is the burning of counterbalances. So the burning itself counterbalances the inflation on Ethereum without diminishing how much the miners end up getting. So just because the base fee is being burned here, it doesn't mean that the miners are getting less. It doesn't mean that they would be getting less than they are now, right? It's really just kind of making everything more not as dynamic. It's making things more, I guess you could say, stable for all these different wallet providers like Coinbase, MetaMask, and different services to pretty much predict correctly how much their users are going to have to pay for each transaction. And it does end up increasing, scalability in the long run, because it just makes things easier for developers as well. Now, there are a couple cons here, and being that I did study engineering, I do like the fact that they kind of follow the same model here, where like obviously they talk about a good part about their proposal, but they also talk about the potential negatives as well, since it's going to affect everybody, not just them. So a couple cons here, kind of just going into them. Number one is that there's no fixed token supply, which results in, let me take a look here, which results in the core developers losing some control over Ethereum's long-term policy. So this is actually right over here. Now, essentially what that means is that, and I saw this all over Twitter the other day. I don't know why it's just randomly becoming a big thing now, but essentially they'll lose control over how much Ethereum or Ether is actually in existence. Bitcoin is 21 million. For Ether, if this were to come into play, it'll be a lot harder to try to predict or really calculate how much Ether actually exists. Take it as you will. I'm not sure. Personally, I'm not sure how that would really affect, I'm sure it'll affect the price of it. Obviously, people will know that it's not finite. I don't think Ethereum or Ether was never really finite anyway, so I can't really see that being that big of a deal. But anyways, the second thing is that it'll be hard to determine whether Ether or ETH is inflationary or deflationary. Now, that is definitely, I think that's a little bit more important than knowing the supply, only because it's pretty much saying, is there more Ethereum coming into existence over time, or is there less being made over time, right? Now, obviously, I think for the most part, it's going to have to be a little bit inflationary, because if it was deflationary, pretty much you want Ethereum being burned more than there's being made, because then, you're just going to lose all the Ethereum. Okay, maybe that's the dumbest thing I've said all day, but you know what I mean? I'm sure it has to be a little bit of inflationary, but the point is that we won't know. And obviously it'll make it a little bit harder for you to predict the price if you don't know, like if it's inflationary, deflationary, if there's more coming into production, less coming into production, or how much there even is. So I would say those are the two main cons there. There's a bunch actually over here. I just didn't want to really get into them. We're talking kind of economics here. But with all that being said, why does any of what I said matter? Why does any of this stuff matter at all? Well, and by the way, you can actually check the current gas prices here on ethgasstation.info. They used to put the prices here, but I think they got so expensive that they stopped putting it in USD. It used to be 13, 12, and 1 or something. Anyways, why do I care? Why do you care? Well, because of these beautiful little kitty cats. Isn't this great? I was playing this game with my girlfriend the other day. I guess you could say playing the game, whatever. But so CryptoKitties, this cute little game clogged the Ethereum network to the point where it was bad. Let's take a look here. So back in 2017, actually in December, they were up to 12,000, almost 12,000 pending Ethereum transactions because of CryptoKitty, right? Now, again, I want you to think about this. For the most part, cryptocurrencies, they're supposed to have a lot of different aspects to what makes them so good. One of them is fast transactions and cheap transactions. This is the exact opposite. Transactions were high as hell. The fees were high as hell, and there was no way you were getting anywhere near close to sending your Ethereum or whatever within the next couple blocks or a couple seconds for that matter, right? This is nuts. And mind you, this was only a CryptoKitties game, so that kind of shows us. I think that really showed everyone the actual flaws of Ethereum, and just how unscalable it was at the time. So it's good to see that these guys are working on improvements to potentially help scale it. Now, the other thing I wanted to touch on too is just how we use Ethereum is. Ethereum is pretty much it's the second biggest to Bitcoin in market cap, but it's used more than Bitcoin at this point, from what it looks like according to this chart, right? There's more Ethereum settled every day than there is Bitcoin, in terms of the value, of course. Now, this isn't raw Ethereum that's being settled. This is this is really just whatever's on the Ethereum network. So this includes ERC20 tokens and stable coins and all those different types of ERCs that exist. So this isn't all specifically legitimately Ether, but it is technically on the blockchain, on the Ethereum blockchain. So it is considered Ether. But it's pretty crazy how massive Ethereum has become. And that's why this ETH 2.0 is pretty big. And hopefully that 1559, improvement or proposal comes through, hopefully. And the last thing I wanted to mention, this was actually a lot more recently, is that the transaction fees in Ethereum has actually surpassed that of Bitcoin. Now you'll see these little spikes back here, but it's finally kind of hit like a little crescendo. I don't know if that's even the right word, but it kind of crossed a little bit, and now it looks like Ethereum's kind of taken over. Because it's pretty nuts. I mean, look, this thing literally took a lift off. It said, "Beam me up, Scotty." Look at this thing. It's nuts. So Ethereum needs some sort of short-term scalability solution now to help solve these issues, because right now it just costs too much to send Ethereum or any ERC20 token without using a layer 2 solution. Now, with all that being said, just my thoughts on the actual EIP-1559. I mean, I would say for the most part, like, I don't think it's going to reduce fees. Like it doesn't reduce fees specifically right off the bat, but what it does is it fixes congestion, by being able to predict more what transaction fees will be, which will end up stabilizing the fees as a result of that. So I guess to a certain extent, it'll definitely help. And again, it does burn Ethereum, which as an Ether holder, I like. So that's nice. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the price of Ethereum today. Just take a quick little look. Beautiful. $380, $379. Took a little bit of a dump today. It looks like, it was knocking at the doors of 400. Not too surprising. I mean, we were pretty much bouncing back and forth with that a couple of times. I mean, listen, I'm always going to say it's anyone's game at this point. I mean, if you ask me, I still think that we're in the midst of the bull market. Now, I'm not talking about 2017 levels. I'm talking about 2016 levels. What I'm saying essentially is that, like, we are yet to see like the huge gains. Don't get me wrong, that's crazy. I mean, look at that price increase. But if y'all saw 2017, we literally saw coins going up 400% a day, literally. Like, pretty much. I remember I was able to kind of predict which coin to get into because I saw, okay, this one hasn't pumped yet. Let me get into this one. That's how you know it's crazy. Now, obviously, I need to say this. Of course, none of this is investment advice, but we'll see what happens, man. I think according to the chart, it kind of looks like Ethereum's got to, retrace itself a little bit. I mean, this is beautiful, but, I mean, come on, bro. It cannot stand like that forever. I'm hoping it dips down a little bit so your boy can buy back in a little bit. You know what I mean? Get that paycheck coming soon so I can just ding, throw a little in there. But anyways, with that being said, I appreciate you guys for watching. My last video actually about Anchor went bananas. I mean, I have almost 200 views from that at this point, and I only uploaded that about 12 hours ago. Holy shit, that's crazy. So I don't know what to do with myself, It's pretty crazy. Thank you guys so much for watching it, obviously, and engaging. I really truly appreciate it. I'm really trying to make it this year. I'm trying to make it my goal by the end of 2020 to just to kill it over here on YouTube, on Library, anywhere where I can interact with you guys. I just like talking about this stuff. So with that being said, let me know in the comments below, do you think Ethereum should be burned? What do you think about the protocol? Specifically, should Ethereum be burned? Yes or no? But anyways, thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.